Very good morning to all.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, today is the fifth practical of cell biology and crop botany, family Poaceae. So please, before starting the practical, please ensure that my voice and the slides are audible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So before starting the practical, what are the families you already covered? Poaceae already covered. Fabaceae. Okay, good. Okay, today is the fifth practical, that is the family Poaceae. We also known as Gramineae. Okay, this family we also called as a grass family. Most of the grasses are come under this family, so that family also known as the grass family. This is the most economically important family. Due to that, they produce the bird stable foods. Okay, this family crop produce the bird stable food. So, any idea regarding this family? What are the crops come under this family?
Ready?
Paddy. Okay, good. Other than paddy, any idea?
Maize.
Sorry.
Maize.
Okay, good. Maize,
Barley.
barley, the major crop from these Poaceae. Sorry.
Wheat.
Good. Okay, the wheat. That is the major crop come under this Poaceae that produce the bird stable food. Okay. So now we move to the classification of this family. This family come under the kingdom Plantae, phylum Angiosperm, class monocots. Okay. These Poaceae crops are the monocotyledon plants. And the series Gulumaceae and family Poaceae. The number of species including this family from 500 to 4,650. There are large species including under this family. That's why this is the one of the largest family among the angiosperm plant and most economically important family. Okay, so here I put some pictures regarding the crops come under this family. So this crop, what is this? Any idea? This one, the first picture. Any idea about this crop? Anyone?
Sorghum.
Good. Okay. This one is the sorghum. Okay. This one. This plant.
Paddy.
Paddy. Okay. This plant. Wheat. Good. Wheat. Okay. This one. Okay. Very good. Sugarcane. And
Maize.
oh, maize. Okay. You are familiar with this crop. I am happy about you. Okay. So now we move to the distribution of this family Poaceae. Okay. These family Poaceae crops are cosmopolitan in distribution. Cosmopolitan means they are found all over the world. Okay, the plant found all over the world, or these extents of this species that found most of the world part. That distribution, we call it as a cosmopolitan distribution. And the members including this family are the grasses, cereals, and the millets. So cereals, what are the crops come under the cereals? Any idea?
Maize,
Maize, paddy,
oat,
sorghum, oats, okay,
barley,
barley. Okay, these crops are come under the cereal, the wheat, maize, rice, sorghum, oats, barley. Those are the cereal crops. And the third members are the millets. Okay, the millets, any examples of millets? Sorry? Bamboo? That is millet? No, that's not the millet.
finger millet,
Finger millet, good, okay. Finger millet. Any other millets?
Foxtail millet,
Foxtail millet. And pearl millet, okay. These millets are come under the millets, okay. So what are the things we are discussing? Please note it down, okay. You have to write it in your discussion part, okay. And this family represented by many food crops and the grasses. The food crops are the wheat, maize, rice, sorghum, sugarcane, millet, oats, barley, okay. So this is the most economically important family because the major foods are come from this family. The staple foods are come from these family crops. That's why this is the most economically important family. And the grasses are the Andropogon, Cyanodon, Poe, Fistiuca, Symbobogon, and the large woody species is the bamboo. Okay, here the Poe grass. Okay, based on this Poe grass, the family name it's come Poaceae. Based on these Poe grass, the family name is come as a Poaceae. Okay, so here also I put some crops belongs to this family. So this one, what is the crop? Bamboo. Okay, good. And this one, no, no. Anyone? Any idea?
barley,
Good. Okay, this is the barley plant. Okay, this one,
oats,
oats. Good. Okay, so you should know the plants picture. Okay, that's why I am putting these pictures here. You have to familiar with these crops. Okay. So now we move to the common characteristic of this Poaceae family. So as we all know, those are the monocot plants. So the monocot plants mean what?
it has a one cotyledon.
Okay, the seed contain only one cotyledon. Okay. This practical class, we are already studied the description of an angiosperm plant. You know the whole definition. So please describe with me. That is recall for you. Okay. So the second characteristic is the no secondary growth. Okay. In this plant, there is a no secondary growth take place. So what is the reason why in these plants the secondary growth not take place? A level?
Vascular bundles are closed.
Okay. So what about the cambium tissue?
It's abdominal.
Okay. Okay. Here. The monocotyledon plants, the cambium layer is absent. Okay, that is responsible for the cell division. So that in this plant, the secondary growth not take place due to the absence of this cambium tissue. Okay, and the third characteristic is the herbaceous plant. Okay, most of the plants are herbaceous. So the herbaceous plants mean they are the herbs. So herbs mean
Medicinal plant.
the second practical, the description of an angiosperm plant. What do you understand from the herbs?
Non-woody stem.
Okay, good. Okay, they have no persistent woody stem above the ground. Okay, they are the herbaceous plant. And the fourth characteristic is the parallel venation. They are the monocotyledon plants. Then the all veins of these leaves are parallel to each other. And the fifth characteristic is this is the specific character of this Poaceae family. In the Poaceae family, there are several specific characters are present. Okay, so you have to, in the discussion part, you have to write the specific characters. Okay, jot down these specific characters in your discussion part while I am discussing these specific characters. Okay, the first specific character is the base of the leaves form a sheath. Okay, in the Poaceae family crops having the sheath. So, what is sheath? That also from the second practical. Sheath.
After fertilization of ovary, they surrounded by the integument and they become a seed.
Ovary. Here I mentioned no base of the each leaves form a sheath. So this is the leaf part. Sheath. Anyone? Sheath. Okay.
Leaf base is grown around the stem.
Okay, good. Okay. At the base of this leaf, these sheath partially or completely enclose the stem. That leaves we call it as a sheath. Okay. A structure at the base of the leaves, petiole, that partially or completely surround this stem, we call it as a leaf sheath. Okay, this is the specific character found in the Poaceae crops. Okay, the next characteristic is the stem. Okay, the stems are hollow and unbranched. So here the Poaceae stem, we call it as a culm. Okay, this is another specific character found in the Poaceae crop. That is the stem of this Poaceae crop, we call it as a culm. Okay, instead of this stem, we are using this special terminology, that is the culm. Okay, don't forget this one, those are important. These terminologies are important, and the sheath and the culm. Okay, and here the stems are hollow. So how do you call this hollow stem? What is the terminology for this hollow stem? That one also from the practical too. Hollow stem.
Fistular stem.
Good. Fistular stem. Okay. The stems are fistular, which means the hollow stem. The empty space inside the stem. Okay. And they are unbranched because they are monocotyledon crops. So the stems are unbranched. And here both annual and the perennial species are occur. Okay. So what do you mean by the annual plant?
Plant which can finish its life cycle within 1 year.
Within the 1 year, they can complete their life cycle. We call it as an annual plant. Okay, here in the Poaceae family, the rice, maize, wheat, oat, barley, those are the annual plants. Okay, they are complete their life cycle within the 1 year. Okay, and the perennial species mean the perennial plant mean
Complete the life cycle more than 2 years.
more than 2 years. Okay, they are complete their life cycle more than 2 years. The example of this Poaceae crop is the bamboo. Okay, they live more than 2 years. And the last characteristic is the source of gluten. Okay, this is the complex protein found in the Poaceae grains. This complex protein made up of gliadin and the glutenin protein. Okay, this gliadin and the glutenin protein combine to form this gluten. Okay, this gluten is found in the wheat and the barley grains. Okay, this is important for the production of this beer and the baking products from the wheat. This protein is important. Okay, so this all about this common characteristic of this family Poaceae. Okay, now we move to the characteristic of this Poaceae crop. Okay, the first characteristic is the flower. Okay, the flowers are somewhat specific in the Poaceae family. Okay, these flowers are lack of petals as well as the sepals. Okay, here the petals and the sepals are absent. And these inflorescences are born between the bracts. Okay, here the floral parts are born between the bracts. That is the special characters found in the Poaceae flower. Okay, here at the base of this inflorescence, there is a globe. Okay, this is the upper globe and this is the lower globe. Okay, these globes are the modified bracts. Okay, here the modified bracts we call it as a globe. Okay, and here the floral parts that also emerge between the two bracteoles. Okay, the larger one we call it as a lemma and the shorter one we call it as a palea. So these terminologies are important. Okay, the lemma, palea, glooms. Okay, don't forget this one. The larger one we call it as a lemma and the shorter one is the palea. In between the lemma and the palea, the floral parts are born. Okay, here they are enlarged, one floret here. Okay, one flower they are enlarged. This one is the lemma, the modified bracteoles. Okay, the lemma and the palea are the modified bracteoles. In between the lemma and the palea, the male and the female parts are there. Okay, this is the male part, the filament and the anthers, and this is the female part, the ovary, style, stigma. Here the style, they have two style. The Poaceae flower having the two style. That also another specific character of this Poaceae flower. They have a two style and the stigmas are feathery. Okay, bristle-like structures are there. Hair-like or bristle-like structures present. Okay, this all about this flower of this Poaceae. Okay, we will further discuss this flower in the inflorescence part. Okay. The second one. Okay. The first one is the flower. That also one of the specific character found in the Poaceae family. That is the floral parts are born between the bracts. And the second one is the leaf blade and the leaf sheath formation. Okay, under the leaves. So the leaves are flat, long, and slender. Slender means the thin leaf. Okay, and form a sheath around the stem. The sheath partially or completely enclose the stem. Okay, here, this is the life plant. Okay, and these leaves are sessile. They are directly attached to the stem without petiole. Okay, this is the leaf blade and this is the leaf sheath. Okay, the third one is the stem. Okay, the poaceae stem, we call it as a culp, and usually they are cylindrical stem, so they are rounded. Okay, and they are fistula stem, hollow stem. The empty space inside the stem, and here they are somewhat swollen at the node. Okay, in the node region, they are somewhat swollen. Swollen means somewhat enlarged. Okay, and we can distinguish. Okay, we can distinguish this internode and the node. Okay, so what do you mean by this node and the internode? Anyone? Internode and the node? What is node? Anyone?
Where buds are located in a stem that is not.
Buds are attached to the stem.
Yes.
Okay, this is somewhat okay. The leaves and the twigs are emerged from the stem. That region we call it as a node. Okay, but also arise from this node region. So, internode means
The space between two nodes.
okay, good. The distance between the two successive nodes we call it as a internode. Okay, here in the poaceae stem we can clearly observe this node and the internode. Okay, and this stem we call it as a culp. Normally they are hollow. Okay, so now we move to the vegetative characteristic of this family Poaceae. So now we are going to describe the okay. This you already studied in the second practical. Now we are apply that aspects to this family. Okay, the first one is the habit. So what is the difference between the habit and the habitat? Habit and the habitat. So what do you mean by the habitat?
It's where the plant lives.
Okay, the locality of the plant. So habit mean
The general appearance of the plant.
yeah, the general appearance of the plant. Here we can describe the branching pattern, leaf size. Okay, overall appearance of this plant, we call it as a habit. So here under the habit, these family crops are mostly annual, biennial, perennial, herbs and the shrubs are there. Okay, here the three category of these plants are there. And also they are herbs and the shrubs. Shrubs mean
They have a woody stem.
yeah, very good. Okay, they have a woody stem. Okay, but herbs not have the persistent woody stem. These Poaceae family crops having the herbs as well as the shrubs. Okay, here the few are woody. Few plants are woody. Here the larger woody species is the bamboo. Okay, it can be grown up to more than 100 feet. Okay, they can grow more than 100 feet. Okay, the second vegetative characteristic is the root. these plants having the adventitious root. So now adventitious root means
Root arise from the
organs. Which organs?
in stems.
Sorry.
Stem like
Okay, good. Stem or leaves. Okay. The roots emerging from the organs other than the root. We call it as an adventitious root. Okay. This Phoaceae family crops having this adventitious root. Okay. The second one is the fibrous root. These are the monocotyledon plants. So they have a fibrous root system. And here the maize and the sorghum plant having the stilt root. Okay, so what is the common name for this adventitious root? The common name for the stilt root? Good. Okay, prop root. The prop root is the one of the adventitious root. In the maize, we call it as a special name, that is the stilt root. Okay, this also one of the specific character of this family, Poaceae, the maize and the sorghum having the stilt root. So what is the function of this stilt root?
extra support to the
Okay, extra support to the plant. Okay, good. Okay, now we move to the stem. Okay, these stems may be erect or prostrate or even creeping. Okay, erect stem means erect stem.
Stem that have a vertical.
Okay, they have a vertical upright growth. Okay, prostrate stem means they can grow along the ground. Okay, they are creeping along the ground. Okay, here the both stems are present in the Poaceae family and usually they are fistular. Fistula means hollow stem, the empty space in the inside the stem. Here you can see the empty space inside the stem. This stem we call it as a fistula stem or hollow stem. Okay. Rarely they are solid stem. Okay, there is a no space inside the internodes. Okay, the examples are the maize and the sugarcane. Okay, they have a solid stem. And here the internodes are very long. Okay, very long internodes are there. And these having the conspicuous node. Conspicuous means observable. Okay, we can distinguish this node as well as the internode. The many grasses develop runners and the suckers. Okay, grasses are developed from the runners and the suckers. So, runners and the suckers are what? What modification? These runners and suckers?
Subsidiary modification.
Okay. Superior? What modification?
Modification.
Stem modification. Okay. So, example for the runners?
Strawberry.
Okay, good. Strawberry. For the suckers?
Banana.
Okay. I am very happy about you. You people are remembering this second practical. Okay. So likewise, you have to follow this semester. Okay. Then that will easy for you. In every family, you have to recall that previous practical. Then that is easy to study. Okay. That's why I am asking the question from the previous practical. Then don't think this miss continuously asking the questions. Okay. The next stem characteristic is here the aerial stem, we call it as a cull. We already discussed this one. This is the specific character of this Poaceae family. And next here The most grasses produce the tillers. Okay. The production of these tillers, we call it as a tillering. Commonly, we can observe this tillering in the paddy. Okay. And here these tillers are produced by only the main axis. Okay. The main axis develop the lateral branches from the basal part of the plant. Okay. Here in this picture, you can see these main axis will produce these lateral branches. That lateral branches, we call it as a tillers. Okay. When these tillers are increasing, then the production also increasing. In the rice, when the tiller production increase, then the rice production also increase. Okay. So here these crops showing the tillers. This is the another character. This word you should remember. Okay. The tillers. Okay. Now we move to the important part, that is the Poaceae leaves. Okay. This is important. The stem, leaves and the inflorescence are important in case of Poaceae family. Okay. So in the examination, when they are ask you to describe about these leaves or stem, you have to include these points. Okay. When they are asking about the stem, then you have to write the name of this stem is skull, and whether that is erect and they have a node, internode. Likewise, you have to describe. Okay. So this is another most important one. The Poaceae leaves having the two parts. Okay. We already discussed that one, the leaf sheath and the leaf blade. Leaf blade, we also called as a leaf lamina. Okay. Here the leaf sheath. Okay. They are covers the internode completely or partially. Okay. Cover the stem or internode. Or we can call it as a cull. Okay. The inner surface of this leaf sheath, that is glabrous, which means the smooth. And the upper surface, okay, the outer surface is variously grooved. They have ridge and furrows. Okay. And they are either glabrous or hairy. Okay. This is the morphology of this leaf sheath. Okay. Here, the another specific character found in the Poaceae leaves, that is the ligule. Okay. These terminologies are new for you. Please remember these terminologies. Okay. The ligule. Okay. At the junction of this leaf sheath and the leaf blade, a thin membranous outgrowth is present that we call it as a ligule. Okay. In this picture, you can see at the junction of this leaf blade and the leaf sheath, there is a membranous outgrowth. We call it as a ligule. This is only present in the Poaceae family. That's why this is the specific character of this Poaceae family, the ligule. Okay. And the another specific character of this Poaceae family, the presence of auricle. Okay. The auricles are the two lateral pointed outgrowth above the ligule. Okay. In the pictures, you can see this is the auricle. Okay. Above the ligule, there is a two side. Okay. Two side they have an auricle. And this is the pointed outgrowth above the ligule. That we call it as a auricle. Okay. This one. This one is the ligule. This white color membranous outgrowth. Okay. This one is the auricle. Okay. These auricles are well developed in the Hodium and the Oryza. Hodium means that is the barley plant. Okay. The scientific name for the barley plant, that is the Hodium. Okay. And the Oryza is our rice plant. The scientific name is Oryza. Okay. So here these auricles are well developed in the barley and the rice plant. Okay. This is the special character is used to distinguish these rice plant from the grasses, other grasses. Okay. Because the rice plant only having this auricle, other grasses not having this auricle. So when you are growing this rice in a field, the grasses, the wheat grasses as well as the rice look like same. Okay. Because The rice also look like a grass now in the initial stage. So based on this oracle, we can distinguish the rice plant from the wheat grasses. Okay, only the rice plant having this oracle, other wheat grasses not having. Okay, this is the one of the important characteristic to distinguish the rice. Okay, the next one is the leaf blade. Okay, here the leaf blade are long and narrow with parallel venation. Okay, here the leaves usually sessile. Okay, they are directly attached to the stem without petiole. Okay, that why they are sessile and they are alternate leaf arrangement. So what do you mean by the alternate leaf arrangement? Alternate leaf arrangement? Anyone?
Only one leaf per node.
Okay, good. Okay, only the one leaf present in the each node. Okay, that arrangement we call it as a alternate leaf arrangement. And the leaf type is the lanceolate. Okay, and the leaf margin is the entire leaf margin or hairy margin. And here the leaf surface is smooth or glabrous. Okay, while you are describing a leaf, you should indicate this one also. Okay, whether that leaf margin, leaf type, and whether that is smooth or glabrous. Okay, this is also important when you are describing about these leaves. Okay. Okay, this is for your observation. I took these pictures from the live plant. Okay, from the Saccharum officinarum plant, I took this picture. What is the plant name? Common name?
Sugarcane.
Sugarcane. Okay, good. The scientific name you should know. Okay, in the Poaceae family, this is somewhat economically important family. So, in the exam point of view, you should know some crop scientific name. Okay, in that the sugarcane scientific name very important. Okay, the Saccharum officinarum. Okay, here these are the nodes. Okay, in between the two successive nodes, that region we call it as a internode. The internode is very long in these crops. Okay, and here at the junction of this leaf blade and the leaf sheath, there is a membranous thin outgrowth is present. That is, we call it as a ligule. And this is the leaf blade and this is leaf sheath. So in your examination, when we are placing the live specimen, you should in a position to mark these parts. Okay, you should know what is sheath, what is leaf blade, what is ligule. So you should in a position to mark these parts. Okay, that's why I put this picture here in the observation part. Please draw this picture. Okay. And here you can see the leaves are very long. We already described this one, no? Thin and slender and very long leaf, and they are alternate leaf arrangement, and they are lanceolate and entire margin. Okay. Okay, so now we move to the floral characteristic. Okay, up to now we studied about the vegetative characters. Now we move to the floral characters. So up to now, do you have any doubts or clarification? Please let me know. I will explain. Okay. If you have any doubts, it's difficult to understand anything. Am I fast?
Moment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we move to the floral characteristic, that is the inflorescence. Okay, the Poaceae inflorescence is important for your examination. Okay, please, if you are difficult to understand this inflorescence, let me know. Okay, I will again explain. Okay, this very important. Okay, that's why I am initially tell. Okay, so here the inflorescence are somewhat complex. Okay, the inflorescence is spike. Okay, we call it as a Poaceae inflorescence as spike. Okay, or we can call it as a compound spikelet. Okay, spike or compound spikelet. These spikes are composed of many spikelets. That's why we call it as a compound spikelet. Okay, these terminologies are important. Okay, this spikelet. Okay, and these spikelets are combined in a various manner on the main axis. Okay, these spikelets are arranged in a various manner on the main axis. Here the main axis we call it as a rachis. Okay, and the central stalk we call it as a rachilla. Okay, here you can see these spikelets are at the base of this spikelet. There is a glooms are present. Okay, this is the lower gloom and this is the upper gloom. That's why these flowers are born between the bracts. Okay, that's why we call it as a these floral parts are born between the bracts. The lower glooms and the upper glooms. These glooms are the modified bracts. Okay, so this one we call it as a floret. Okay, each floret compose these spikelets. Okay, this one we call it as a floret and this one floret. Okay, so each spikelet bear one or more than one floret. Okay, each spikelet bear one to several floret. Okay, these floret join to form these spikelet. Then these spikelets combine to form this spike. Okay, here these florets also born between the bracts. Okay, the longer one we call it as a lemma and the shorter one we call it as a pallia. In between the lemma and the pallia, the floral parts are born. Okay, and these florets are attached to the central stalk. We call it as a rachilla. Then these inflorescence main axis, that is we call it as a rachis. These spikelets are attached to the rachis. These florets are attached to the rachilla. Okay, these terminologies are important. Okay, this rachis, rachilla, and these glooms, lemma, pallia, spikelets. Okay, and based on the crop, these inflorescence may vary. Okay, the compound spike is present in the wheat plant. Okay, the inflorescence of this wheat plant is compound spike. Okay, but in the Fistuca grass, that is the raceme. Raceme means that is the simple spike. Only the one spike is there. Then that is we call it as a raceme. Okay. In the Avinia and the rice plant, the inflorescence we call it as a panicle. Okay. Based on the crop, the name vary, but the common inflorescent type of this Poaceae family, that is the spike or compound spikelet. Don't confuse this one. Okay. Here, this is the one spikelet. Okay. Here, the each one we call it as a floret. Okay, these florets are joined to the rachis. And this is the one spikelet. Then several spikelets are composed to form this spike. Okay. And here, these are the sterile glumes. Okay. The lower glume and the upper glumes are found at the base of this spikelet. Okay, at the base of this spikelet, there is a lower glume and the upper glumes are present. Okay. And the base of these florets, there is a bract is present, that is the pallia and the lemma. Okay. This should know, okay. You should in a position to mark these inflorescence. Okay, here a structure of the spikelet. Okay, I already explained this one. At the base of this spikelet, there is a sterile glumes is present, the upper glume and the lower glume. At the base of these florets, there, okay, this is combinedly known as the spikelet. Okay, these spikelets composed to form the spike. Okay, here this is the spikelet. Okay, the one spikelet, they are enlarged. Okay, this larger one we call it as a lemma and the shorter one we call it as a pallia. Okay, in between the lemma and the pallia, the floral parts are born. Okay, and lemma bears the long on. Okay, this is the extension of this midrib. The awns are the extension of this midrib that is present in the lemma. Okay, and these floral parts are born in the axis of the lemma. Okay, in the axis of the lemma, the floral parts are born. Okay, this picture you should in a position to mark. Okay, this one is on, this one is the lemma and the shorter one is the pallia and these floral parts. The anthers and the flamen, that is the male part, and this is ovary and stigma, and this one is the style. Okay, that is the female parts. So these poaceae flowers, unisexual or bisexual? Bisexual, because the male and the female parts are together. Okay, so these are the bisexual flowers. Okay, and this is the sterile lemma. Okay, and this picture also the same. Okay, the structure of this spikelet. Here you can see these filaments are very long. Okay, these Poaceae family flowers are pollinated by this wind. Okay, the pollination is taken by this wind. So that's why these filaments are modified for the wind pollination. Okay, very long filaments. Okay, and this one is the rice inflorescence. We call it as a panicle. Okay, this each one, this is the floret. Okay, this one is the floret. Then these florets are joined to form the spikelet. Okay, this one is the spikelet. Okay, then these several spikelets are composed to form the spike. Okay, that spike in the rice plant, we call it as a panicle. Okay, so now you got the idea about this inflorescence. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So this one of the grass, okay, the live plant, I took this picture. In the naturally, the spike is look like this, okay. One of the grass, okay. So these grasses having this fibrous root. And this is the spike inflorescence. Okay, this one. Here the each one is the spikelet. Okay, these spikelets are joined to the main axis in a sessile manner. Okay, these are the sessile flowers. Sessile flowers mean sessile flowers.
Directly attached to the stem. They don't have the petiole.
In these flowers,
Pedicel.
pedicel. Okay, don't confuse this one. That's why I am asking this question. In the leaves, sessile mean without petiole. In the flowers, sessile mean without pedicel. Okay, the terminologies are different. Okay, here they are directly attached to the main axis without pedicel. Okay, that flowers, that is the sessile flowers. Okay, this is the spike. And in the observation part, you have to draw this picture and mark this one. Okay. Okay, next one is the flower. I already explained that one. These flowers are sessile. They are directly attached to the main axis without pedicel. Okay, and these flowers are bracteates. The flower parts are born between the bracts. That bracts we call it as a lemma and the palea. Okay, and these flowers are hermaphrodite or unisexual. So the hermaphrodite flower mean hermaphrodite flower. You already studied in your second practical, isn't it? Hermaphrodite. Did you heard this terminology before? Anyone?
Male and female flowers.
Sorry?
Male and female flowers.
Okay, they are the bisexual flowers. We also called as a hermaphrodite flower. Okay, the bisexual and the hermaphrodite are same. Don't forget this one. This is important for the following families also. Okay. So the hermaphrodite and the bisexual are same. Commonly, these Poaceae family crops are bisexual, but some crops showing the unisexual as well. Okay. The male and the female parts are not present in the same flower. That flowers we call it as a unisexual flower. Hermaphrodite or bisexual flower mean they have the male and the female parts together in one flower. Okay, and these flowers are zygomorphic. So now what is zygomorphic? Zygomorphic flower.
Flowers can be divided half only central axis.
Okay, good. Okay, the flower can be divided by a single plane into two exactly similar parts. Okay, only one plane we can divide this flower exactly similar parts. That's we call it as a zygomorphic flower. Okay, hypogynous flower. The next one is these flowers are hypogynous. So hypogynous ovary means the other name for this hypogynous ovary.
Ovary
superior.
Sorry,
Superior ovary.
superior ovary. Okay, good. So now tell what is superior ovary?
Ovary. Petal, sepal, stamen.
All are present where?
Gynosaurs.
Below the ovary. Okay, the floral parts. Okay, the petals, sepals, and the stamens are present below the ovary. We call it as a hypogynous flower or superior ovary. Okay, these terminologies are important for the all families. Okay, don't forget this part. Okay, and these are the irregular flowers. Okay, because here the petals and the sepals are absent, no? So they are irregular flowers. Okay. Okay, the seventh one is the perianth. So what do you mean by the perianth?
Combination of petals and sepals.
Good. Okay, the combination of these petals and the sepals, we call it as a perianth. Okay, here we already discussed this one. These petals and the sepals are absent. Okay, they are absent, but they are represented by the lodicules. Okay, these petals and the sepals are represented by two lodicules. Okay, here in the flowers, these two are the lodicules. Okay, in between the palea and the lemma, these petals and the sepals are represented by lodicules. Okay, commonly two lodicules are represented, but in case of bambusa, they have a three lodicules. Okay, rarely only the bambusa species having these three lodicules. Commonly, they have two lodicules. Okay, these lodicules are the minute membranous scale-like structure. Okay, and here the next one is the androecium, the male part. Usually, they have a three stamen. Okay, they have commonly they have three stamen, but sometimes they have a six stamen. Okay, in the rice plant and the bambusa plant, they have a six stamen. And in some case, they are reduced to 2 or 1. Okay, based on the crop, the stamen number may vary, but commonly they have 3 stamen. Okay, here the stamens are free. Okay, they are free and having the long, slender filaments. I already explained that this one, they have a long, slender filaments because they are pollinated by the wind. Okay, to facilitate this wind pollination, these filaments are very long and slender, and these anthers are versatile anthers. Okay, here you can see the versatile anthers in this picture. Here, these filaments are attached to the anthers. This attachment is near to the middle. Okay, near to the middle of these anthers. This will enables the anthers move freely. Okay, this attachment of this filament to the anthers enables these anthers move freely. Then when the winds come, then anthers can hanging. Okay, they can hanging and releasing the pollen. To facilitate this wind pollination, they have a versatile anthers. Here in this picture, you can see this type of anthers. They are hanging in the filaments. So they can freely move. When the wind moves, then these anthers also freely move. Then they can release their pollen. Okay. And here the anthers are two-celled. Okay. This is the one cell and this one is the two cell. Okay. They are two cell anthers and dehisce longitudinally. Dehisce means the mechanism of the pollen release. Okay. They are splitting and releasing the pollen. They are longitudinally splitting. That is, we call it as a dehisce. Okay. The mechanism of the pollen release. And next we move to the gynosium, that is the female part. Okay. The gynosium is monocarpellary. So what do you mean by this monocarpellary? Monocarpellary gynosium. Monocarpellary.
One carpel in the ovary.
Okay, good. Okay. the one carpel is present in the ovary, we call it as a monocarpellary. Okay. And they are the unilocular ovary. Okay. And superior ovary, we already studied that one, no? And unilocular. Here you can see. This is the unilocular ovary. There is a one chamber is only present in the ovary. That's why they are uni. Okay. One chamber. One locule. The chamber we call it as a locule. There is a one locule is present in the ovary. Then that is we call it as a unilocular ovary. If it is two locule present, then that is bilocular ovary. Okay, in the following families, you will study that one. Here, they are unilocular. Only the one locule is present. And they have a single ovule. Okay, here, this one. Only one ovule is present. This ovule, we call it as an anatropous ovule. Okay, these terminologies are important. Okay, the anatropous ovule means they have a single ovule in the ovary. Okay, and here the style is short. Okay, here the style is very short and they usually two. Okay, two style normally found and they are arise from the capillary wall of this ovary and they are feathery. Okay, they have a bristle-like structures. Okay, that is the stigma. Okay, in the maize, the style is long and silky. This is the style. This is the maize plant and this is the style. Here, this style we call it as a silk. Okay, this name you should know, silk. Okay, and they are very long. And the placentation of these ovary is the basal placentation. Okay, basal placentation means one ovule attached to the bottom of the ovary. Okay, in the bottom of the ovary, there is a one ovule is attached to the ovary. That placentation we call it as a basal placentation. Okay, in the Poaceae family, there is a one ovule, but in the basal placentation, there may be more than one. Okay, more than one ovules are attached to the bottom of this ovary wall. That placentation we call it as a basal placentation. Okay, this placentation also you should know. Okay. Is that clear? The gynoecium. Did you got the point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so this is the maize plant. So here I put this picture because you should in a position to mark the all parts of this maize plant. Okay, when in the examination, when we placing this crop, whole crop, then you should in a position to mark from the top to bottom. Okay, so please draw this picture in your practical observation part and label this picture. And you should know the each part. Okay, here this is the root. Okay, the fibrous root, and they have a prob root. Okay, in the maize we call it as a stilt root. The prob root of this maize we call it as a stilt root, and here this is the male inflorescence. Okay, in the top side we have the male inflorescence. Okay, this one. This is the live specimen. Okay, the male inflorescence we call it as a tassel. Okay, you should know the names. Okay, tassel. Okay, and the female inflorescence we call it as a ear. Okay, this is the ear. Okay, ear. And here the style I already explained. No, the style having the special name, that is the silk, that is long. Okay, this is silk. That also one of the female part, style. We call it as a silk. Okay. And this is the seal of this maze. So please draw this picture in your practical book and label it. Okay. This is important. Okay. Now we move to the important part, that is the floral diagram and the floral formula. So here, this is the floral diagram. I give it to you. It's your duty to tell the floral formula because you already complete the 2 practicals. So now you have an idea about this floral formula. So here, normally we are not labeling the floral diagram. Okay, the normal format of this floral diagram, we are not labeling any parts. But in the Poaceae family, there is some specific characters they are no. That's why here some parts are labeled. Okay, due to the specific characters, they are labeled the floral diagram. But in the commonly, you do not label the floral diagram. If they are asking about the draw the floral diagram for a family, then you don't label the floral diagram. In case of Poaceae family, they have a special specific characters. That's why that specific characters they are labeled. Okay, don't confuse this one. Okay, so now can you tell what is the order for the floral formula writing? The first one, what is this? First one. So you should know because this is one of the question for your examination. Not this family. Definitely one family is come. You have to draw the floral diagram and the floral formula. So if you know how to write the floral formula, then only you can draw the floral diagram. So now, so the first one for the floral formula, what? Anyone?
It's probably
Percentage.
Percentage? Sorry, I didn't call.
Yes, ma'am. Percentage mark for to show that this flower is zygomorphic.
Okay, you are correct, but the zygomorphic is the first formula. First, what we are indicating while writing the floral formula? By observing this diagram, tell me.
Bracket flower.
Okay, good. Okay, first we have to write the bracts, whether this flower having the bract or not. If the flower having the bract, then you can indicate as what formula? BR. If it is not, then PBR. Good. Okay. So here the Poaceae family crops having the bracts or not? Okay, having. So we can write as a BR. Okay. So next, while you are writing the floral formula from the outside to inside, you have to write. Okay. From the outside to inside. Just follow this one. Okay. So now you are writing these bracts. Okay. Here they have a special bracts. That's why they are indicating the names. Okay. Lemma and the palea. Okay. So next, what is the component of this floral formula? after the bracts? Zygomorphic or actinomorphic. Okay. So here the flowers of this Poaceae, whether that is actinomorphic or zygomorphic. Zygomorphic. So we can indicate as a percentage as a symbol. Okay. The next one, what is the component? Third component of this floral formula,
Calyx.
calyx.
Bisexual.
Good. Okay. Whether that is unisexual or bisexual, we have to indicate that one. Third is the unisexual or bisexual. So now tell the Poaceae flowers are bisexual. Then we have to indicate that symbol. Okay. Next, after the bisexual or unisexual, next component, the fourth component is calyx. Okay. So what about the calyx in this Poaceae crop? Calyx. Whether the calyx is present or not? No. Okay. So after the calyx, what is the component? Corolla. What about the corolla in these flowers of Poaceae? Whether these petals are present in these flowers or not?
No,
No.
ma'am.
So here we can indicate togetherly as a perianth. Okay, because the sepals and the petals are absent. Okay, that both are represented by what? Here, these petals and the sepals are represented by what? Lodicules. Okay, here this floral formula indicate that one. Okay, while observing this floral diagram, you can write the floral formula. Here, the specific character is present, that petals and the sepals are absent, that are represented by lodicules. So we can indicate that components as a P, because here perianth, we are combinedly writing. Okay, then we can write P. How many lodicules? 2. Okay, P2. So after the corolla, what is the component we are going to write in the floral formula?
Androecium.
Androecium. Okay, good. So what is the symbol for this androecium? A, capital A. So here, how many stamens are present? 3. Then we can write as a 3. So whether these stamens are fused or not? Not. So no need of put the brackets. Okay. If the stamens are fused, then you have to put the brackets. But here the stamens are free. So we are not putting the brackets. Okay. Next, what is the component of this floral formula? Gynoecium. So what is the symbol for the gynoecium? Capital G. So these flowers are, how many carpels are there? 1 carpel. So we can write as a G1. So in the gynoecium, what is remaining?
Superior ovary.
Okay, good. Okay. They are the superior ovary. Then what is the symbol for the superior ovary?
Underline.
Underline. Okay, good. Okay. We have to underline that gynoecium. Okay. This is the floral formula for the Poaceae crop. I am satisfied because this floral formula is come from Jew. Okay. So somewhat you are understanding about. Okay. Please familiar with this. You have to write the floral formula. Okay. By observing this floral diagram. Okay. From the outer part to the inner part, you have to write. Okay. Here, normally the floral formula not contain these words. Okay. But here in the Poaceae family, that is the specific character that petals and the sepals are represented by these lodicules. So that here we are putting these lodicules within bracket because we have to indicate this P, that perianth is represented by lodicules. That's why we are putting these lodicules in within bracket. Okay. This is the common floral formula for the Poaceae family. So now I will ask the question. Okay. This maize plant. Can you tell this maize plant is unisexual or bisexual?
Unisexual.
Unisexual. Why? Why you are considering this plant as a unisexual? Reason? May I know the reason?
It has ovary.
Sorry?
It has ovary.
Okay, it has the ovary. Okay. I am asking the reason why you are.
It has two kind of flowers.
Okay, the male and the female parts are separated. Okay, male inflorescence are present in the top and the females are present in the middle. Okay, that's why they are unisexual. If the flowers having the both parts in a one flower, then that is the bisexual. Here the both parts are in a different place. That's why they are unisexual. So whether this maize plant monoecious or dioecious? Monoecious, dioecious. Did you heard this terminology before? Monoecious, dioecious. Anyone? Maize plant, whether this is monoecious or dioecious? Any guesses?
Dioecious.
Dioecious.
Dioecious. So, what do you understand by this dioecious? Okay, here one complication is there. Okay, bisexual flower means they have a male and the female parts together in the one flower. Bi that indicate the two. Okay, and uni that indicate the one. One part is present in the flower. So we can describe these flowers based on this unisexual and the bisexual. But in case of describing the plant, that is controversy to these flowers. Okay, if the plant is monoecious, then which means they have two flowers in a one plant. Okay, that is opposite to the flowers. When you are describing a plant, if the plant is monoecious, then that plant having the male and the female parts in a one plant. In a one plant, you having the male and the female parts. That plants we call it as a monoecious. Dioecious means the male part present in the one plant and the female part present in the another plant. Okay, that is opposite to this unisexual and the bisexual. And now, can you tell this maize plant is monoecious or dioecious?
Monoecious.
Monoecious, okay? Because these male and the female parts are present in the one plant. Okay, so can you tell the example for the dioecious plant? based on your observation in your environment. Example.
Peppo.
Sorry? Peppo.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Okay. Peppo, the female parts are present in the one plant, the female papaya. And another plant is there, that is the male papaya. Okay. And the ideal example is the palmyra. The male palmyra and the female palmyra. Okay. Those are the dioecious plants. Okay. Don't confuse these dioecious, monoecious as well as the unisexual, bisexual. So now, can you tell for these maize plant, what is the change in this floral formula? This is the common formula, no? So when they are asking about, write the floral formula for the maize plant. So then what is the change you have to make in this floral formula?
Unisexual flower.
Unisexual flower. Okay, whether the female is present or male is present, you have to change that one. Okay. Here we are putting the bisexual, no? So we have to change the unisexual. So if they are asking the floral formula for the rice plant, then what is the change here? Based on the stamen, in the rice plant, they have a 6 stamen. Okay. So I already explained in the androecium part, the rice and the bamboos are having the 6 stamen, but commonly they have a 3 stamen. When they are specifically asked about this, the floral formula for the rice plant, then you have to put as a A6 because the rice plant having the 6 stamen. So based on the crop, the floral formula may vary, but this is the common floral formula for the Poaceae crop. Okay, don't confuse with that one. Okay. So is that clear? Or you need to explain this floral formula again? Did you got this idea about this floral formula?
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Excuse me. Ma'am, can you explain how to write the floral formula of the maize plant?
Okay. The all other components are same, but this here we are putting the bisexual, no? So we have to change it as a unisexual. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Now we move to the next session, that is the fruit. Okay. Here the fruit type of this Poaceae family, that is the another specific character. Okay, this terminology you should know. We call it as a caryopsis. Okay, caryopsis means the pericarp is completely united with the seed coat. Here you can see the seed coat and the pericarp are united. There is no space between these pericarp and the seed coat. They are completely united. That we call it as a caryopsis seed. Okay, and rarely they are nut berry. Okay, the nut berry also they are in the bambusa, but commonly they are caryopsis. And these seeds are endospermic. The albuminous seeds are present. Okay, those are the grains, no? Those are the albuminous seed. Albuminous seed mean during the germination, okay, the cotyledons are emerged from the seed, no? These cotyledons not use the all endosperm. Okay, for their growth, they are using the endosperm of the seed, no? But in the albuminous seed, they are not completely use this endosperm. Okay, the endosperm remain in the seed after the germination of this cotyledon. That seed, we are call it as an albuminous seed, the grains. The ideal example is the grains. Okay, and here here the pollination. I already explained this one. They are pollinated by bean pollination. The terminology for this bean pollination, the crops are pollinated by wind. We call it as anemophilous. Okay, you should know this terminology. Okay, in your examination, please write about these or write the meaning of these words. Then they can give these terminologies. Anemophilous. Then you have to try it. Anemophilous means the plants pollinated by wind. Okay. Likewise, you should know the terminologies. Anemophilous. Don't forget this one. And albuminous mean they have a endosperm inside the seed. And caryopsis mean pericarp completely united with the seed coat. Likewise, you should know the special terminologies and their meaning. Okay, that is important. Okay, so those are the food crops come under this Poaceae family. Okay, wheat, rice, barley, millet, sorghum, sugarcane, oat, maize. Okay, those are the food crops. And this one is the grasses come under these Poaceae, that is the Poae, Fistiuca, Cymbobogan, and this is the cyanodon. You should familiar with these grass. Okay, high medicinal value they have it. Cyanodon. And this is the Andropogon. Okay, those are the some grasses come under these Poaceae. And this is the bamboo. The large wood species, they can grow above 100 feet. Okay. And this is the perennial crop also. Okay. So next one is the important species. Okay. Here I jot out some important species. Okay. You should know the scientific name of this crop. That's enough. Okay. You should know in the examination, you should know the scientific names. Why, when they are asking the economic importance of this Poaceae family, then you have to try food crops, then you have to write Sia maize. The scientific name is important. Okay. That's why here I jot out the scientific name. While you are writing the economic importance, it is better to write the examples in a scientific name. If you don't know the scientific name, then definitely write the common name. Okay, don't leave the space empty. Okay, if you are writing with the scientific name, then that is more clear answer. No. Okay. So here the maize, the scientific name is the Sia maize. Rice, Oryza sativa, wheat, Triticum aestivum, sorghum, Sorghum vulgare, oats, Avinia sativa, barley, Hodium vulgare, pearl millet, Penicetum glycum, sugarcane, Saccharum officinarum, bamboo, Bambusa bamboo, and the lemongrass, Cymbobogan citatus. Okay. This one of the grass, I indicate that one because this have the high medicinal value. Okay. So this having the high medicinal value, so that I put the scientific name also here. Those are the important species. You should know the scientific name. Okay. So now we move to the most important part. That is the economic importance of the Poaceae family. The first economic importance is the food. Okay, I already explained this one. Those are the major family crops producing the world's staple foods. Okay, the three meals are produced by these crops. That's why this is the most important family crop. Okay, they are good source for the food. The examples are the wheat, maize, rice, sugarcane, oats, sorghum. Okay, and this is for the humans. and these feed for the animals also. Okay. These grasses, okay. These grasses are used for the fodder for the cattle and the sheep. The examples are the Poe, Fistuca, Andropog, and Synod. Okay. So while you are writing the economic important, that is important to write the examples. Okay. Then only you can get the full marks of that question. The examples are very important. If you are writing with a scientific name, that is much better. Okay. Okay, those are the food crops. I put some pictures for your clear identification. Okay, this is the wheat seed, and this is the rice seed, and this is the barley seed, and this is the oat seed. Okay, these meals are produced from these crops, and these wheats are the most economic important crop. The most of the foods are produced from this wheat. Okay, and this the maize seeds, and this is the finger millet. We also called as kurakan. Okay, the finger millet, and this is the finger millet flour. The several food items are prepared from this flour, and this is the sorghum seed, and this is the sugar cane. Okay. The second one is the industrial usage. The first one is the food, and the second one is the industrial usage. So here the manufacturing of papers. Okay. So the most of the grasses are used for this purpose. From the grasses, they are manufactured the papers. Okay. And this sugar cane, the cane syrup, and the sugars are obtained from the sugar cane plant. Okay. And beer manufacturing from which plant?
Barley.
Barley. Good. Okay. So here I am not mentioning the example. That is your work to search and write the example of this industrial usage. That's why I am not putting the examples here. You have to write. Okay. And biofuel production from any guesses? Which plant? Biofuel means the renewable energy we can obtain from the living plants, living parts. That is, we call it. Sorry? Sugar cane. Okay, good. And corn, sorghum, those plants we can get this biofuel. Okay, I will tell this example. Please note it down and write and search more examples. Okay, biofuel from the sugarcane, sorghum, maize we can obtain. So making of woodwind instruments, the fluids.
Bamboo.
Sorry, bamboo. Okay, the example is the bamboo. The timber production. Example. That also bamboo. Okay, this is the larger woody species, no? So we can get the timbers for the construction. We can get the timbers from this bamboo. Okay, the third economic important is the medicinal usage. Okay, the Simboboc and Citaris, I already explained that one, no? This is used to cure the fever and the flu. Okay, these have the higher medicinal value. Okay, and the lemongrass, that is the citronella grass, that is taken as a tea, the citronella or lemongrass tea, and it is good for the health. Okay, and the fourth one is the ornamental purpose. These grasses, some grasses are grow as an ornamental purpose. Ornithopoda variegata and the Chesmantium latifolium are the examples of these ornamental grasses. Okay. Okay. This all about these family poesie. Do you have any clarifications, doubts? Let me know. Okay, I will give 5 minutes. You can ask. I will tell.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
So what are the pictures we should draw in our practical?
Yeah, that's what I am also tell. Okay. Okay. In the after the finishing of writing, you have to put a table and draw the pictures. Okay. Then the crops you should know, no? So these pictures or the first one, you have to draw these pictures. That's enough. Okay. You should in a position to know the plan. So which picture you prefer, you can draw. Okay, I need this paddy plant one picture and the wheat plant one picture and the sugarcane, maize, sorghum and this barley, oats, bamboo. Okay, these pictures you have to draw because you should know the crop. Okay, and this one draw. Okay, the flower of this poesy. You have to draw this picture and this picture, the leaves you should draw and this stem. Okay, this one enough. Okay, you have to draw this one and this one. Okay, the ligule you have to draw and this auricle and the ligule. One picture is enough. Okay, here I put 3 pictures for your clear understanding. You have to select one picture and draw. You should know this auricle and the ligule. Okay, and this picture must, okay, this is the live specimen, no? So please draw this picture and indicate these parts. Okay, and this inflorescence important. Okay, draw the all pictures in the inflorescence because this is important for your examination. So draw this picture and this picture. These two are same, no? You can prefer one picture and draw. Okay, and this one important, the live specimen. And here, if you want, you can draw the flower, okay? Because you already draw the flower in the previous, no? If you want, in the flower part, you can draw this picture. That's your wish. And this. Okay, this picture is important. The maize plant, the whole plant, you should in a position to mark. Okay, and this floral diagram you should know and write this floral formula. Okay, here, these two, they are indicating this, that style. Okay, here you are already studied, no? They have two styles. So that is one of the specific characters. So in the gynoecium region, they are drawing this style. Okay, the feather-like structure, they are drawing. If you are not drawing, that also okay. Okay, but commonly we are not indicating this style in the floral diagram, no. But in some case, they are drawing. That's why I put this picture here. Okay. Okay, this picture or the before picture. I need the pictures for this crop. That's all. Okay. And this picture, the economic important, I put for your understanding. Okay. No need of drawing this one. Okay. And here you have to write the examples. Okay. Industrial usage. That's all. You can. If you want, you can draw the other pictures also. For your understanding, some pictures I put. One of you asked that, do we need to write only the new terminologies in this practical? Here in this practical, the most of the terminologies are new for you. So please underline or you can mark that terminologies for your future studies. Okay, when you are finishing this semester, you have to study, no? So please underline or whatever. You can study these terminologies. Okay. And in the discussion part, please write about these specific characters of this Poaceae family. Whenever the each family is finished in the discussion part, you have to follow this habit. Okay. Write the specific character of that family. Then studying these 12 families for your examination. 12 or more than 12 families are there. Then when you are going to the discussion part, then you can get the overall idea. So in the Poaceae family, those are the specific characters. In the Fabaceae family, those are the specific characters. So that is easy, while you are writing in the discussion part. So please, writing in your discussion part, the Poaceae family specific characters, the inflorescence and the culm and the leaf sheath, leaf plate, ligule, auricule. Here today, the most specific characters we discuss, no? So please jot down that one into a discussion part. Plants, then how do you answer that question? You don't know if we are placing the rice plant as an example. So you don't know the rice plant how to look like this. Then how you can attempt that question? That's what it's better to draw the pictures in your practical books. So while you are studying for your examination, you will get some idea, no? The rice plants is look like this. If you know some students are doing the agriculture, they may be your farmers are doing the agriculture, or you also doing the agriculture. So you know rice plant. Then no need to draw the rice plant because when you are placing, you know, no. So in some students don't know, no. They are come to know these crops first time. So that students, that is important for their examination. Okay, thank you for your suggestion and the comments. I will expect this suggestion and the comments in the following practicals also. So thank you for the participation. Thank you. Now you can leave.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.